I wish that this would be like this, but of course I have to do it like this because for some reason. Okay, guys. We'll just do that. You guys know I'm sitting over here by my bed. All right. What's up, guys? My name's Nicole. Hey, Zach. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction, and I share my life with you. Tonight is our Friday night medically assisted treatment support group. Hey, Serenity. I do these every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, so if you're new or you've never been here before, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the family. You know, I talk about a lot of recovery on this channel, but I also share things that are just going on in my life from day to day, struggles that I go through as an addict who is, you know, working a taper program with my doctor because I've been on Suboxone for about 4 years now. In July, it'll be 4 years. Hey, Julie. Hey, Krissy. Hey, Jamie. And so that's what I've been doing, you know, for the last year, is just kind of doing this channel and staying accountable and staying sober with you guys. So I just got done washing my face. Me and Nate went to the park, you guys. We've just been running around. I've been sweating. I got a zit in the middle of my forehead like a big old target. So, but it is what it is. I want to talk to you guys about inclusivity and judgment. I want to talk to you guys about being open-minded and how important it is for us as a community, as a medically assisted treatment support group community, to be open-minded to other treatments and to watch what we say when we're helping others, because this is the thing. So lately here, I've been noticing that my friend Avalon and her opiate fix made videos about kratom, and I never want anybody to think that I'm against something that's helping them. You know, I don't, and so this is for methadone and kratom because I only have experience, like a lot of experience with Suboxone. So I wanted to kind of make this little, you know, group for the people who are on methadone and on kratom. I wanted to come on specifically and talk to you guys about, no, they weren't, but I wanted to talk to you guys, the people who are on methadone and the people who are on kratom, and let you know that, you know, I support you and I want you to be healthy and happy, and I want you to be safe, you know. And I don't judge anybody's journey, you guys, because honestly, like, I have no room to judge anyone's journey. You know, I have been on such a journey for the last 4 years that it's been up and down and all around. And so I want you guys to know that whether you're on methadone, Suboxone, kratom, Vivitrol, naltrexone, whatever your medically assisted treatment is, if you are on medical marijuana, like, I just want you to know that I support you and that you're safe here and you can come hang out with us, and I want to be able to include you guys, you know. So that being said, like, I just want to make sure that, and so this is what I thought we could do tonight. I feel like we're getting a lot of different people are coming in. I feel like we have a lot of new people, and I just want to kind of talk to you guys about how we do our chats here, about the kind of things that are allowed in the chat, and, you know, things like that, because I think it's easy whenever there's a bunch of us that already know, and then there might be new people who have no idea and who have never been here. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, like, I try to really keep it positive. I try to keep the chat flowing with, like, good, constructive things. I want you guys to be helping each other in the comment section. I always try, if we're doing like a MAT support group or if we're doing the big book study, I always want us to stay focused on, like, what we're talking about during that live stream, because during the week I do all kinds of other live streams where we can just sit there and gossip. You know what I'm saying? So, like, tonight, it's like I want us to be focused on recovery and supporting other people who are, you know, struggling, and maybe they're just coming out of active addiction and transitioning into medically assisted treatment. I want you to be able to openly talk about being on your medically assisted treatment and how you're feeling if you're struggling with that. I'm going to share with you guys like some things that I struggle with even now, after being on Suboxone for 4 years. So I was talking to one of my girlfriends today, and okay, so even after being on, hey Shay, even after being on Suboxone for almost 4 years, you guys, my addict brain still tells me that if I take Suboxone when I'm tired, that it'll give me energy. Do you hear what I'm saying? Or if I'm at work and I'm had a long day and I'm just like not really feeling that great, my mind for some reason still goes to, oh, well, just take a piece of Suboxone or take a caffeine pill. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I don't drink coffee, but I take these little caffeine pills. That's all they are, is caffeine, 200 milligrams of caffeine. And my mind goes to, oh, well, just take a caffeine pill. And I'm like, oh my God, Nicole, like I'm still doing it. You know what I mean? And so I guess the reason why I'm bringing this up to you guys is because, hey, Candy, I'm good. I'm glad you're here. The reason I'm bringing this up to you guys is because, like, if I'm aware of myself doing it that much, and I have been working so hard, like diligently, y'all know how hard I am on my recovery. You guys know how hard I am working to be like a better person and be self-aware. But it's like my brain still, and now besides that, now it does these things. It goes, oh, well, today's been an emotional day. I want to go get a cheesecake from the bakery. So listen, you guys are going to kill me. So 2 days ago, me and Nate went to the bakery and I bought a cheesecake and I fucking ate the whole thing. It was 6 pieces, okay? It was one of those little ones. But I devoured that whole cheesecake, you guys. No regrets. No regrets. It was delicious. But it's like, that's the kind of stuff, you guys, that I'm talking about. Like, it's happening in every part of my life. Not just, so, okay. And so what will happen with me on my medically assisted treatment, like I am on top of it right now. Like I'm taking 8 milligrams every day and that's it, because my doctor was like, listen, you've got to take 8 milligrams because when we drop you down in 2 more months, we're going down from 8 to 4. And he was like, so I need you to be taking your dose as prescribed. And I'm going to call you in and I'm going to count it like randomly. And I know I know like any day now, next week, he's going to call me like to count it or anytime. And so like, I'm really trying to make sure that I'm taking the right amount every day. And so this is what I've been doing. I've been taking 4 milligrams in the morning and then 4 milligrams in the afternoon. Because what happens is when I wake up, you guys, I break my pill into 4 pieces and I take 2 milligrams on one side and 2 milligrams on both sides of my tongue. And then I just sit there for like 20 minutes until it dissolves. And then I spit out the nasty stuff. Okay. And so I've been doing good on that. But like I said, like now that I'm like really holding myself accountable to sticking to like taking my dose, now I find myself, like I said, reaching for food, going and buying cheesecake, taking an extra caffeine pill. For me, it's like that's what it's all about. It's like, or like obsessing over how many videos I'm going to do that week. Okay. I want to know why he is going from 8 to 4 also. I don't know. He told me that I probably will. I don't know. He just said we're going to go from 8 and then we're going to go down to 4. But then after we go to 4, then it's going to be like, we're going to go down from like 1 milligram, I think. I'm not sure, but I'll let you guys know when it happens and I'll let you know how it goes. He told me like when we do it, if I get on that dose and it's like, I'm struggling, just to come back and he'll add more to it. But I'll let y'all know. That's going to happen until, what's this month? This is May. I'll go back August 15th is when I go back. So I'll be on the dose I'm at right now for the next 3 months. So, but do y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like my mind is it's everything in my life is affected by addiction. Okay. I'm addicted to YouTube. I'm addicted to Like I said, food, I'm addicted to, like just everything. Is that temporary enjoyment seeking for the nagging craving? It's listen to me, like with food, it's like a very short feel good feeling. It's like when I'm tasting it, you guys, and then it's like melting in my mouth, and then like I'm so full that I can't breathe. And me and Krissy were talking about this. Sorry, I gotta go get some water. Me and Krissy were talking about this the other day on the phone because it's like, Nate, don't knock that TV down, buddy. I'll be doing so good for like a week, and then I'll binge one night. And so I've been trying to just like focus myself back on like not binging and just like taking it one day at a time, because what I've been doing is been getting ahead of myself.
Daddy,
what?
I think I'm on something that I can watch. I think it's next year.
Is that what you want to watch?
Yeah,
Okay, you got it on there?
no.
Hold on, let me see. Hold on, let me get Nate's. Hey, Mom. Hold on. What's that, baby?
Go up here. Go up.
Where's the tea changer? Nate, stop the seat. What do you want to watch?
I want to watch Nick Jr.
Nick Jr. Okay,
Yeah, Nick Jr.
right here.
Yeah, Nick Jr.
Now sit down like a big boy.
I don't want to watch that.
Okay, Thomas.
No.
What do you want to watch then, Nate?
You have to find something. One that I haven't watched before is really.
Nate, stop, please.
Mommy.
Well, you're slamming down. Okay, what, Nate? What do you want to watch?
Allison said there's Ryan.
There. You haven't seen that in a long time. Okay, I gotta get some water. Let me go get some water, Shed. Sorry, y'all. Hey, Mom. I have seen a lady in AA addicted to cake. She would eat it till she threw up. Shay, so let me tell you guys about my sponsor. She has a food addiction too. So I just got to work. I have to work the steps on food. I know that there's a thing called Overeaters Anonymous, and like I just need to go there. They have one here in my town, like literally right down the street. Because here's the thing, you guys, like I'm really short, okay? I'm like 5'3", 5'3 1/4, and if I get any bigger, y'all, I'm not gonna be able to walk around. I'm gonna be looking like freaking Amberlynn Reed. Y'all hear me? Oh, Candy, girl, you got that anytime, girl. And if you ever need me to go and talk to your doctor, or you need to use me as a reference or anything like that, I got your back, girl. I just don't want. Okay, so let's talk about medically assisted treatment. Sorry, guys, I got off on a tangent about food there for a second. So yes, they do, Serenity. That is so true, and I think. So, okay, so let's talk about Suboxone and Methadone. So, how many of you guys have experienced weight gain from when you got on Suboxone or Methadone? I don't know if it's necessarily because of Suboxone, but I know that since I've gotten sober, my behaviors have changed. And so, when I was in active addiction, I wouldn't eat, you guys. Like, when I was in active addiction, I would go days without eating. I remember once I got down to like 120 pounds, and that's like really skinny for me, like really skinny. And so now it's like I eat more and I enjoy eating. Okay. And I use eating, you guys, as a celebration. Okay. So this is what I have to get away from. My mom can vouch for me too, because we were all like this. Like when my parents and all of us were raised up, we celebrate with food. We celebrate everything with food. Like it could be the birth of a new baby, celebrating it with food. And it's like, I don't know, food is just like, I've been like our whole life, food has been like a big part of it. But then also, my dad's like he's like a really.
Mommy, I'm trying to find a big green snapper for the Doritos so no bugs will get in it.
Are you eating the Doritos?
No.
Okay, well, you don't have to worry about it. I'll get that, buddy, okay? And so when we were growing up, it was always, my mom made awesome food, though, like homemade food. She didn't give us junk food. Hey, Kimberly. Yeah, me too. Well, you know what? Oh, thank you, baby. I was,
I wanted to eat those upstairs. Okay.
Okay, you want to take them?
Yeah, but I'm closing your door.
Okay, close the door. Thank you. Love you. Such a good boy, y'all. Such a good boy. I love you.
Love you too.
Anyway, that's what I think happens, Amber. I think what happens is he says he loves us, you guys, and he's going to go upstairs and watch his show. He's been such a good boy today. We've been okay, so listen, let me tell you guys. We have been working on his numbers, which he knows all of them, and his colors and the names of the colors. And then also we've been working on short words, reading. And so I have these flashcards that are like the like no and the and at and am, just short words. And we have been going through those. So we're working hard because he wants to make sure that he makes it in kindergarten. And that's what he said. He said, if I don't learn this stuff, I'm not going to make it in kindergarten. And I said, no. You're going to make it. You're already in kindergarten. We just want to make sure that you're ahead of everybody, that you've got a head start, and I see myself and my son already, because he really wants to do things perfect on the first try. And I'll have to tell him, it's okay. It's okay. Practice makes perfect. Pludres don't give up, right? We don't give up. We keep trying until we get it right. And, man, I'm telling you what, you guys, like, I already see the way I was, like, in him. So I'm, like, trying to build him up, to help him know that he's going to be great. He's so smart. And so sometimes I worry. We have been really struggling, you guys, with cuss words, though. And so me and Neil, we don't cuss like in front of Nathaniel. Like, I know you guys hear me drop an F-bomb every now and then. I might say shit. But, like, we're not big cussers. Like, we're not over here yelling. I can't remember the last time me and Neil wasn't in front of Nathaniel. Like, we're really careful to, like, not raise our voices in front of Nate. Because, I don't know. We just don't do that. So, my son has been saying cuss words, you guys. So, anybody out there who has got any, like, advice on, what to do about that, like, I've threatened to wash his mouth out with soap, but I can't do it, you guys. I can't do it. I won't put soap in his mouth. But I spat him the other day on his little legs, like that. But I just get worried. I don't want to make him, like, scared of me, I just want him to not say bad stuff. But, okay, so I know you guys are here for support and to talk about medically assisted treatment. So I'm sorry I got kind of off track there. I just wanted to come on here and kind of like let everybody know that's new, kind of like the basis of what we do over here, is a process. Just tell him he is a hard worker. Kids look for the shocked look on your face. I know, Mom, that's what it is, you guys. Because when my son says stuff, he gets a reaction out of me. Because I'll be like, And that's what it is. Me and his daddy both. And then sometimes we can't help. We'll just bust out laughing. Because it's just, But I'm going to tell you this. Like, we have a schedule over here. And I'm pretty good. Like, I have him on a schedule. So that's one thing that I did right. But I have to have the stone face. I know, right? My mom tells me that. Ignore him. Don't react because he wants my attention. He's trying to get me to go like I already do, you know? So, okay, so what we do over here, you guys, on Friday nights is we do this medically assisted treatment support group. Okay, for those of you that are new, that are just kind of hanging out in the distance, I'm on Suboxone. I am currently on 8 milligrams. I have tapered from 12 down to 8, and I am in a treatment program where I go to see, you know, my doctor every 3 months. So I see him quarterly, and I do therapy there, and you know, and I also worked 12-step program through AA. And so here on my channel, I started like wanting to have a place where people could come that were, you know, on methadone or on Suboxone or Subutex or whatever form of medically assisted treatment that you get on. And I just wanted you guys to be able to come here and just learn about recovery, okay, because we're helping each other, we're learning together, and I wanted you guys to be able to come here and share about how you're doing and how you're feeling about your treatment, and if there's things that, you know, you want to ask me that you've been struggling with, or anything like that. Yeah. Hey, Nicole's mom, you have an amazing, beautiful daughter. Y'all are so nice. Krissy, yeah, Gold Dust is Krissy. And so I remember I tried to do this on Facebook, so I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about Facebook and Facebook addiction. So when I was on Facebook, I have been off there for a year now, and it's probably been the most peaceful year of my life, because for me on Facebook, you guys, like, I was always going to war with somebody, like ignorant people, fighting them and, you know, so I had a MAT support group on Facebook, and it's still there. Like, if you guys want to join a group on Facebook, and you want to be a part of a medically assisted treatment support group, there's one on Facebook, and it's my group. It's called MAT support group. And Carla from Christians, Raising Christian, is on that page, and a couple other people moderate that page. And I just, I'm not on there anymore, but they have it. They took it over because I just couldn't, like, Facebook was just, I was just growing crazy over there. But I want you guys to come over here, and I want y'all to know that, like, just because you're on Suboxone or methadone doesn't mean that you can't start working your program and getting into a recovery program. I think what happens to a lot of people when they get on methadone or Suboxone is they think, well, I'm not sober, so I can't go to these meetings and I can't start the 12 steps. And I'm here to tell you that is a lie, and everybody's recovery is different, and what somebody else might consider as sober, somebody else might consider not. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you guys what I mean. So I've met several people with other drugs, right? But they're sober 20 years, right? Oh my God, I watched Michelle's videos today, and she's so great. I need to connect with her about this peer recovery. I know, I told you. Sorry, guys. Her story is so inspiring to me because it's so, like, the stuff that she's been through is just, like, really hard, and she's a real deal. So being on Suboxone and methadone, you don't have to tell people in the programs that you're on that. Just wondering. Well, Shay, that's what I thought too, or that's what I tell people now. Okay, here's the deal. When you start out in AA and NA, you guys, they tell you that honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness are the 3 cornerstones to your recovery, right? So honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness, okay? Honesty, got to get honest with myself and others. Open-minded, and then willing to take suggestions, right? And so when I got into AA, I thought, well, I have to be honest. I have to tell everyone that I'm on Suboxone. And that's what I did. I went and I told everybody, you guys. I told my sponsor about it. I told this person about it. I told everybody about it. Because I was like, I wanted to be totally honest. Well, what that did is that opened me up to other people's opinions, okay? And other people to critique and criticize me, okay? And so I'm telling you guys, like, the only people that I think that you should be honest with about you being on medically assisted treatment, and it's when you feel comfortable, are, of course, with your doctor, and if you're seeing a therapist, and if you decide to work a 12-step program, you can find a sponsor who will work with you and who will help you in your recovery, that will help you work the 12 steps while you're on medically assisted treatment. In fact, do you guys remember Ian from the other day? He has a sponsor, and I was asking him the other day because I was checking up on him, seeing how he was doing. He has a sponsor, and his sponsor is on medically assisted treatment also. So that way, he totally understands what they're going through. You know what, Serenity? I had to get to that point too, you guys, but it took me time. And at the beginning, while I was still fresh and new, it was really discouraging to have people say, you're not sober. And so I don't want to make this meeting about that, because I feel like, we already know what everybody says. We already know what they want to think or say, I just want you guys to know that if you're going through that, and yes, Ian, the one we got into the halfway house, yes, he's got a sponsor, and his sponsor is also on medically assisted treatment. So that way, like, Ian and him are working together, working the 12 steps. And so he totally understands what Ian's going through. It's very confusing. Okay, so remember the other day, Shay, when you were thinking that what we talked about today, and you thought I had said something that it was me that said that. And so when you're brand new, you hear somebody say, oh, well, you shouldn't be on that, blah, 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 blah. And when you're new like that, you're soaking in all those things, and you're like, oh, wait a second, so I shouldn't be on. That's why I'm starting to really have to be careful and watch what I say, because whatever works for you, you've got to be, it's all about you being honest with you. I've been told so many times that I'm not clean, but as long as I know I'm doing what I need to do, that's all that matters. Exactly. And so here's the thing. I had to get honest with myself, right? I had to finally get honest with myself and just stop bullshitting. And I want to be sober. I want to work recovery. I enjoy helping others. I enjoy talking about addiction with you guys, right? So I think what it all comes down to, you guys, is if you want to be in recovery and you want to be sober, well, guess what? You are, okay? And if medically assisted treatment is helping you, then you just need to stick with what's working for you and don't worry about it. Because so many people are dying. I had a friend of mine reach out to me last night, which I've got to call her when I get done here. Her friend passed away from an overdose. And that's every day, you guys, I'm hearing about more people that are dying from overdoses. I just don't want you guys to get stuck in that, Exactly. And you know what, Sandra? It took me a long time, you guys, to learn that there's a way for me to be constructive and to help you guys and to not hurt people. Because for a long time when I would speak, and I still tell it like it is, but I'm very, not aggressive, but I'm very matter of fact, okay? I'm very blunt, okay? And I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it or anything like that. But for the longest time, people would get so offended by me when I would speak the truth, right? And so I've been looking at it, thinking, okay, maybe I need to change something. Maybe I'm saying things the wrong way. Maybe I can do a better delivery. And that's why, I've really been trying to put myself in the position of what it felt like to be in early recovery, what it felt like to be struggling with relapse, what it felt like to be unstable, not have a home to live in, be living in a halfway house, be coming off of drugs. Because if I put myself in that position and I remember what it was like, then I pretty much can understand why people's actions are the way they are. And that's helped me a lot to be a better person and a better service to others, because I always want you guys to know that if you're struggling, if you're still in active addiction, I don't give a damn. I mean, I do. I don't want you to die. But what I mean is, I'm not going to judge you. Okay? I'm not going to judge you. That's what it is, you guys. The truth can hurt, and it's uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And listen to me. It's that easier, softer way does not work. And that's why, from my experience, it didn't work for me, because when I saw somebody that was delivering things to me the easier, softer way, then I would manipulate them. Okay, so that's why I'm keeping it on me. I would manipulate you guys, and I would get over, because I would take their kindness as a weakness. Hey, Krissy. And that's what, Sandra, everybody, I want everybody to know, like, whether you're in active addiction, whether you're on medically assisted treatment, whether you're abstinent, like, we are all the same. We're all just trying to stay sober one day at a time. Like, if you strip away all the labels, alcoholic, addict, mat support, abstinent, AA, NA, if you take away all the labels, we're just the same. We're just people trying to be better. You know, can we all agree on that? Like, we all are just wanting to be better. We're all just wanting to improve. How many of you guys are trying to improve your life? I just want to be better. I just want to have a better life. I just want to not eat everything in sight. I look totally different at other addicts now than I did before. We have to get out of our comfort zone to grow, in my opinion. Recovery comes in many forms. Yeah, you know, but I feel like so here on my channel, you know, I talk about recovery a lot. And I always want you guys to know that you're welcome over here on my channel. And I also want to talk to you guys about something that I saw. And I want to tell you guys and explain something to you guys. So here on my channel, we talk about every form of addiction and recovery. Sometimes we're going to talk about recovery and staying sober, working the 12 steps, going to meetings. I'm going to tell you guys about, you know, my experience in that. And sometimes we're going to talk about active addiction. And we're going to talk about using. We're going to talk about triggers. We're going to talk about things that I used to do back in the day that were crazy. Okay? And my channel is like so broad that you can find anything from recovery to active addiction story times, to prison story times, to me and my son playing outside, to my dogs going for a walk. Like, I tell everything over here. This is just like a mishmash of everything that's on my mind. You know, I tell those addiction story times, you guys, because for one thing, they're hilarious now that I look back on it, and I can laugh at that. You know what I mean? I can look back on those things that I did, and I'm like, girl, you are crazy. You know? But I want you guys to know, like, I will always wrap it back around to recovery. And I will always let you guys know, like, I'm not proud of my past. Those things that I did in my active addiction, you guys, like, I'm not proud of it. And I still struggle with shame and guilt over that stuff. Hey, Jess Bronson, what's up, buddy? I still have a lot of guilt and shame surrounding those things that I did in active addiction. You know, I'm not proud of that. And I never want you guys to think that I'm proud of the bad things that I did in active addiction. I'm just sharing them with you guys because I had to be high to do some of that stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, a person that was in their right mind wouldn't be doing that stuff unless they were high, you know? And I know, Krissy, and you know what? I think there's a healthy kind of guilt, right? It's okay to feel a little bit of guilt. I truly believe that. But then I think we go into shame territory. And what shame makes us feel is that embarrassed, or like nobody else has been through it, or that we're pieces of shit because we did that, right? Me too, girl. Our house was sold and I have to be out with you. Daily, I'm learning. Oh, serenity. I understand. I was like that for a long time. And I'm going to tell you what happened is, like, getting out here and talking with you guys and just sharing, like, on my channel has really helped me a lot. But I didn't just come out here and start telling my deepest, darkest secrets. I opened up to my sponsor first, you guys. And I told her all these things that I had done. And I when I told her, because she's an older woman and she's just an alcoholic. She's not an addict. And I remember when I was bearing my secrets to her and I was telling her all the things that I've ever done in active addiction, these horrible things, right? These things that I wouldn't have done now. Things that I only could do because I had to get high to do them. And I remember telling her these things and her looking at me and saying, "That's it? I've done that." Almost making it like it wasn't a big deal, you know? And I had built it up to be such this big thing in my head, right? I had built it up to be like I was the master sinner of all sinners and that nobody had sinned like me. But there I was, thinking that I was so different than everybody else and that my addiction was so bad that I had done the worst things in addiction history. And I was so afraid to talk about it. But then when I finally told her, you guys, like, it was like not even a big deal. And once I let that out to her, I came on here and started sharing a little bit bits and pieces with you guys. And then when I share my story with you guys would comment and say that you've been through the same thing. And then that made me want to tell more. You know, and a lot of the things that I talk about with my son and DHS, I have met so many women who have been through the same thing, you know, and that's why I share my story, is because there's other women that are listening and it gives me strength to tell and talk about it. I love meeting other women who have gone through the same thing. And don't get me wrong, I don't want anybody to be in active addiction when they're pregnant, you guys, but like, I just felt like it was so important that I was honest about that part of my addiction, because, you know, if I could have, I tried to stop for many, many years, and I could stop, but I couldn't stop starting. Have y'all ever heard that before? I could stop using, but I couldn't stop starting. Like, I would start back up. And I would relapse, and I would relapse, and I would relapse. And I would let everybody down over and over and over again. And I would just got to this point where I just quit coming home and telling my family about it, you know? I quit telling my mom that I even got sober because I knew that I was just going to relapse, you know? Addiction is an illness. We were sick, plain and simple. Yeah. So I saw your comment, Candy, like a story time about my life or a story time out of the big book? Because, let me think. I was going to tell you guys a story time. Let me think. Let me think. Oh, I know. I could tell you all a story about. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys about a story time about me and Neil. Okay, and so I know you guys like listening to these. So it's gonna we're gonna start out when we first met, and you should do story times on a specific day. Your tears are my tears. Yeah, you know what? I try to throw up story times like just throughout the week. But here, I'm going to tell you guys a story about me and Neil, because this is going to have y'all laughing, okay? So we're going to laugh a little bit, and then we'll read a big book, a story out of the back of the book. How's that sound? Or I'm going to tell you the story about me and Neil, and then I'm going to find a story online, somebody else's story, okay? And then we're going to go read that. So, okay, so in 2012, I met Neil, okay? If you guys don't know what my husband looks like, I'm fixing to show you a picture, so that way you can get some context, okay? Where you at, Bear Butt?
I want some candy cake.
What?
I want some candy cake.
Okay. Hold on. Let me do this story time, and then I'll make you a pancake.
Can
Nate.
they see me? Can they see me?
They can hear you. Stop being nasty.
What?
He's marking his territory, y'all.
Ooh.
Acting like a dog.
I'm marking my territory on mommy.
Yuck. Okay, hush. Don't say that, please.
Hush up.
Yes, please, baby. Okay, hold on. I wanted to show you a picture of Neil. Oh, I have it in here. Hold on. Hey, Nate, go grab me that picture of Daddy that's on the counter. You know where it's at?
Yep.
Okay. So in 2012, I met my husband, and the way I met him, you guys, was I was at... Okay, so let me set the tone for you guys, okay? I hope you don't mind. Is everybody cool with the story time? Okay, here we go. And you guys can chat if y'all want to in the chat, and that's fine. I don't mind y'all doing that. Okay, so in 2012, I met my husband, all right? I was working at Kroger as... at this time, I had gotten demoted. I was no longer... Hey, Robbie. Oh, Lord. I don't really know why, but hey, listen, Cuck, we can talk about that. If you want to message me on Twitter, you can message me on Twitter. My handle is at Real Talk Recovery or at Nicole DeMeo, or you can ask me on Instagram at Nicole Pludre, because I'm doing a story time right now, but I'll tell you about it if you'll message me on there. Okay, so I met Neil in 2012, and like I said, I was working for Kroger, you guys, and I had gotten demoted from assistant manager in the deli. Thank you so much, Robbie. You're so sweet. I love you. I hope you're doing okay. You got my text message the other day. I appreciate it, man.
The picture isn't anywhere.
Oh, baby. Hold on. Let me grab it. It's right here, Daddy.
You didn't say it's on there.
It's okay.
She's stupid.
Hey, stop with the mouth. Go upstairs. Okay, look at me. Stop.
I'm making all my stuff in here.
I mean, I love you, but you can play your blocks right there, but I don't want to hear you talking.
Is it okay if I play from in here?
As long as you're quiet. Okay? Okay, so some context. So I met Neil in 2012. This is a picture of Neil. He's a little ginger snap, okay? And so when I met Neil, I was living at this girl's house, and I was sleeping on the couch, you guys. Her name was Kaylee, and her boyfriend's name was Hunter, and we had an apartment, and they had an apartment, and they let me come and live with them because, you guys, I had nowhere to go. I was homeless, okay? I had just gotten my car impounded because I was driving around one night, me and my girlfriend, and we went out.
You mean your boyfriend?
A friend that's a girl. Shh. I was driving around, me and my friend, and I had a blue Ford Focus. It was a 2001 blue Ford Focus, guys. I had had it since 2000. And so this was like 2012. So I had had it for 11 years. I bought this car when it was brand new, and I paid it off. And that was one of the things that I actually did do while I was in active addiction. Like, I paid my car payment and insurance. So, because my dad stayed on he was always like, come on now, you got to send me that money, da, 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 da. Always, always, always. So I got this blue Ford Focus, and me and my girlfriend were riding around, okay? And I ended up getting it impounded because we got pulled over, and I had this guy in the front of my car, and his name was Gerald. I will never forget this, y'all. So me and Gerald had just pulled out of the Fun Wash parking lot because we were doing a shot in the Fun Wash parking lot. And we had just finished up, and we were driving out, right? Well, pew, whew, whew, blue lights come behind us, and I'm like, oh, God. I'm freaking out because I have a syringe on me.
Right now.
And so, Nathaniel, you're going to need to go upstairs, okay? Because I'm trying to tell this PG-13. Now, be quiet. I'm trying to tell it PG-13. So I have this rig hidden. So I hide it, you know where, and we get pulled over, okay? This dude, right when we get pulled over, you guys, he throws something under my passenger seat. So he bends down like this, and the cop sees him. So when she pulls us over, it was a woman. She pulls us over. She has us both get out of the car. She goes straight over to his side of the car, and she's like, I saw you throw something under your car. And I was so grateful that this lady was on it like that, because he was trying to like say that stuff was already in my car, you know? And so what he had thrown underneath the seat was a bottle with 2 Xanax bars in it. Why didn't he just eat those, was what I was wondering. So we got pulled over, and I had that hidden, you know what I mean, up there. And so he got taken to jail, and she impounded my car because my tags were expired and my insurance was no good. Okay? Because he, like, literally, when we were getting pulled over, you should have seen it. He was so obvious. He was, like, bending down in the, he was just so obvious that he was fidgeting over in the passenger seat. So I would have just swallowed them, right? And so that's what I would have done. So she took my car and took him to jail because he had those bars on him. Well, they leave me on the side of the road. My friend calls, like, some guy, and she's, like, off. Like, she's like, forget y'all, I'm out of here, right? She leaves. And I'm on the side of the road with a rig shoved up inside of me. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? So I call my friend, Mr. Lawrence. Okay, now let me tell y'all about Mr. Lawrence.
Mommy, I have to say something. Were you still alive?
I was still alive.
Did you not dead?
No.
Any blood?
No.
I thought you said something was shoved up in you.
No, baby. Listen, don't be listening. Please go upstairs.
What?
Give me his. Okay. So, watch first before they even get out to see if you move in the car. Right. Okay. So Nathaniel, he's listening. So I'm trying to tell this very PG. So I call Mr. Lawrence. And let me tell you guys where I was at. Like, I was downtown in North Little Rock on, this street is called, it's in the ghetto, y'all, in the ghetto. That's what I'm going to tell y'all. Pike Street. I'm on the side of the road. It's like 6 p.m., okay? And so I'll call Mr. Lawrence. Let me tell you all about Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence and me, we've been friends for like 10 years, okay? I met Mr. Lawrence way before I ever even thought about getting sober. And Mr. Lawrence is like an old school pimp daddy. Like, this guy always has a 3-piece suit on. He always has some alligator skin shoes on. He's always got a nice hat on. He's always got a nice Cadillac or some big body car like that. Light-skinned black guy, hazel eyes, about 60 years old, okay? And so I called Mr. Lawrence, and I was like, man, you got to come get me. I just got my car impounded. And so he's like, okay, girl, I'm coming to get you. So him and my friend Casey pulled up, this guy named Casey, and they picked me up, and I was like, thank you, God. Thank you so much for picking me up, you guys. So I stayed that night at Mr. Lawrence's house on the couch, and I went to work that next morning. Well, that next morning at work, that's when I ran into Kaylee and Hunter. And that's when they were like, hey, we've got a couch. You can sleep on it. Because I was like, hey, y'all, what's up? I don't have nowhere to live. Because that's how it was, you guys. Like, I would run into people and I would be like, what are y'all doing? Like, are y'all kicking it? Blah, blah, blah. And Hunter was like, hey, if you pay us rent, you can sleep on the couch. We have a hide-a-bed right there.
Can you get through there or not?
Yes, I can. And I was like, they were like, you can move in, you just have to pay us rent when you get paid. And I think I was getting paid on that following Friday. So it was like legit. I was like, all right. So I got all the bags that I had at Mr. Lawrence's house, and I had some other bags stuffed at my friend Tanya's house. You guys, I had bags at everybody's houses because that's how I lived. I jumped from house to house and couch to couch, right? So I would just have bags of clothes and purses and shoes at different people's houses, and I'd have to go around and collect them all. Well, I moved in there, and I stayed there at their house, you guys, for a good 6 months. Like, they let me stay there for a while, and I was so grateful because they gave me a ride every morning to work, and they picked me up after work. But you guys also have to realize that I was paying them $400 a month in rent to sleep on a couch because I had a full-time job. I worked 40 hours a week at Kroger. And so Neil, one night we were having a party. We had been up all night doing, staying up all night. And Casey, Mr. Lawrence, the guy I met with Mr. Lawrence, remember? Oh, girl. And they would get stolen. Like, people would steal stuff out of my stuff. I remember my parents, you guys, they bought me this beautiful silver, like that metallic silver leather Coach bag. It was like a hobo bag, like a really deep bag. And it was beautiful. I loved it. And it drew string like that. My parents had just bought it for me that Christmas. And I left it over at Tanya's house. I came back to get all my stuff and it was gone. And I was just like, damn. my stuff would just get stolen. And it was what it was. You know what I mean? Hey, Danny. And so we were kicking it one night. We had been up all night long, you guys. I probably was on like a 2-night bender, right? And when I would go on these like benders over there at their house, like me and Kaylee, we would like stay up all night and like do our hair and put makeup on and like put on short shorts and really cute little tops, like crop tops. And I was skinny. Y'all gotta remember, I was tiny because I was tweaking all the time. And we would stay up all night. We would be coloring and listening to music and just tweaker stuff, tweaking all night long. Well, I remember I was sitting on the couch, and here comes this little redheaded white boy. Okay, and when I tell y'all about Neil, let me tell y'all about him.
Is that Neil?
I was a little hood rat, okay? I was a little hood rat. And Neil comes in, and he is just Catholic high, graduated from Catholic high, button down the front shirt with one of those Argyle vests over it, and a cute pair of jeans and a pair of loafers with his red hair spiked up. And I looked at him, I was like, he's cute. And he was sitting beside me, and I said, I remember it like it was yesterday. I looked at him, I said, I really like your vibe. Like, he was just like so happy and cheerful and like just a gentleman, you know, like invited me to go out with him. So I loaded up in the truck with him, just me, him and Casey, and he opened the car door for me, and I was just like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy opened the door for me. And I remember we went to a hotel room that night, and we did not do anything, but we stayed up all night long, you guys, talking about our parents, how we were raised, what we believed in religiously, just like, and tweaking, of course. But we were like connecting with each other on a level I had not connected with anybody with in years. Now, you have to remember that the last boyfriend I had was LD, and he used to beat me to a bloody pulp. So I hadn't been with anybody like relationship wise in about 7 years with Neil. Like, I had been out of the game. Like, of course I was, you know, having just like casual flings or whatever, but I had been out of the dating game for a long time. And I was real damaged, like damaged goods, you know? Yes, girl. And it was just like that. We were just like connecting. And so I remember I gave him my number. He brought me back that next morning. I gave him my number, and he left, right? And I didn't expect to ever hear from him again. Well, then that following Thursday, he called me and he said, hey, I want to get another hotel room. And I remember, you guys, I acted so offended. I was like, what do you mean get another hotel room? I'm not that kind of girl. You guys, when I tell you that me and Neil, like I was raised up the same way Neil was, but I had been in my addiction for so many years that I had turned into a ghetto fabulous hoochie mama. You know what I mean?
But
like,
did you still you?
I loved your daddy. So
And now he loves me and you.
he loves us both. So when I met Neil, it was like, I was like, didn't feel that confident about myself. Like, I felt like I wasn't good enough for him. I felt like he was so much better than I was, right?
Mommy,
Little did I know that he had an addiction to opiates, right? I had no idea when I met him. I thought he was just partying with us for the night. Well, he invited me to get a hotel, and I said, no, I'm offended. And he was like, okay, well, let's go out on a date. You know, let's go out on a date. And so we went out on a date. We went hiking, and we went out to eat. And I remember he put his arm around me, and I was just like, ugh.
Mommy,
I knew that I was going to be with this guy for the rest of my life.
I have to tell you something.
What?
In your ear. Quiet.
So I knew that I had just... yes! On the side of the road on Markham Avenue. So I just remember him putting his arm around me and me just being like, I'm going to be with this guy for the rest of my life. Like, I love him. Like, I already felt like I loved him. You know what I mean? Now, that could have been just because I was messed up. Who knows? But I felt so many feelings for him. And he was so respectful to me.
So I know you're going to get me out of there, so I'm going to get out.
He was so respectful to me, and he treated me like such a lady. And I had never had anybody treat me like that before, you guys. Like, all the guys that I had been with, were just so horrible. So we got to know each other, and like I said, we just started dating. We did not separate from that point forward. We started sleeping over at each other's houses. He started sleeping with me on that couch every night and taking me to work, you guys, until I lost my job. One night, we had stayed up all night long, and I woke up the next morning, and I took like 7 bars, and I went to work, and I was on methadone and 7 bars, and I got fired because I was slurring everything, right? I knew she was the one for me. Sandra, yes, girl, that's how it was. Like, I just felt this connection to him. Like, you guys, I felt like I had known him all my life, you know? So, I went into work that morning, and I just lost it. They took me immediately to get drug tested. And when I got there, I refused to pee because I was really fucked up. So, I lost my job that day, and I thought, oh my God, this guy, he's never going to want to be with me. And I remember he came and picked me up, and he was like, it's okay. We're going to get through this. You know, like, we're going to get through this together. And that's when we started talking about addiction. And we both started realizing and talking about, like, he started telling me about how long he had been addicted to drugs. And I told him about my situation. And we really started to open up about our struggles with addiction and trying to get sober, because we had both been to treatment a couple times when we met. And then I went to treatment, you know, one time after we got together, and that was this last time that I got sober. And Neil went to treatment twice when we first got together. And so we have always been trying to get sober. So let me tell you guys about this gun. And the reason I'm telling you guys about this is because we just got a notice in the mail for it, because we still have to report it stolen in case something happens that somebody shoots that gun, right? So me and Neil, we kicked it with some really unsavory people. And it was because, like, he didn't really know a lot of people in Little Rock to get drugs from, but I did. And all the people I hung out with, you guys, they were hardcore. They were thieves. They were drug addicts. They were dealers. They were con artists. They were criminals. So we went to go pick up this guy, Gerald. God, it's crazy. Same guy that threw the Xanaxes under my seat, right, is the same guy that we're going to pick up some Xanaxes from. So I took Neil over there to his house, right, to go get some Xanaxes. And in Neil's truck, we had just got this Glock, right? Neil shoots guns. He has a concealed handguns license. And he loves it. Like, it's just, he's really good at it. And so he had just gotten this Glock, and it was in this black box. I don't know if you guys ever had a handgun, but they come in these black plastic boxes where you can carry your bullets and everything in. And so we had this gun, and it was in the passenger seat in the back, in the little pocket, right? And I didn't think about it. He didn't think about it. We were high. We went to go pick up Gerald, and he got in the back seat, right? To make the trade, to give us the Xanaxes and for us to pay him. I think we were buying like $100 worth of bars, which really isn't a lot. It's like 20 bars, okay? So we were buying $100 worth of bars, and I remember giving him the $100, and then him getting out and like turning like this with his jacket up like that. And me and Neil, after it happened, we both realized what was happening, but we didn't realize it until after it happened. So he gets out of the car and he runs inside and he's gone. We drive down the road, like probably not even 2 miles, and Neil, something just tells him to put his hand in the back seat to see if that gun's still there. And so he puts his hand in the back pocket. That gun is gone. When I tell you guys, that I had to hold Neil back from going over there and like throwing a brick through these people's window, because I knew they would shoot him and kill him. They would have shot us and killed us. Neil, when he gets mad, he ain't nothing to fuck with. He's a little redheaded devil when he gets mad, y'all. And so he was like, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to kill him. I was like, no, they'll shoot us. They have your gun. And so I was like, no, we're going to go make a police report. We drove straight into North Little Rock and made a police report. And we reported that gun stolen, told him who did it and everything, you guys. I'm not even kidding to you. This kid had that gun traded off and sold so freaking quick. We've never gotten it back or seen it since. But every year we get this notice in the mail with the serial number, and we have to sign whether, tell them that, yeah, it's still gone. We've never gotten it back. It's never been retrieved, because in case somebody shoots somebody with that gun, and it's registered to Neil. So it was just Neil. I remember was so upset because he was like, your friends are such pieces of shit. My friends would never do this. They would never, and it was true, because these people weren't my friends. These were people that I got drugs from. These were people that I shot dope with. These were people that could benefit me, but they weren't like my friends, And so I remember that he was so upset, and I was so upset for him. Nate, stop. Because I couldn't believe that I allowed that to happen. Like, I couldn't believe that. I don't know. I never had anything nice for anybody to steal, because I always sold it before I could have anything nice. Like, if I had some nice stuff, it was a purse or something like that, and my girlfriends would end up stealing it, or some girl that I stayed the night at her house would end up stealing it. Neil, though, when I came into a relationship with Neil, y'all, he had nice stuff. He had a nice truck, he had money, and I'm exactly, Serenity. So that stuff, I always remember it. So that gun got stolen, and I remember Neil was so upset with me, you guys, and I'll never forget that Gerald guy for screwing me over in the car and throwing Xanax under my seat and stealing my man's gun. And you know what? I've never seen him since that day. I haven't seen him again. And I used to see him all the time, when I was getting high. But now that I'm sober, I don't go on that side of Little Rock. And so that was a great little story about that. So I don't know where I was going with that, but I wanted to tell you guys, because Neil just got a new gun, and he just got his concealed handgun license renewed and everything. He was so happy, because he was like, now I'm sober, and I can, my shit's not going to get stolen, and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Oh, Sandra. You guys, I stay so far away from those kind of people. Serenity, it was, but Neil was different than I was in active addiction, you guys. I kicked it with people like that. Neil always had money, okay? And so he didn't have to go around people like that. He would just go pick up, and then he would be by himself, right? And so, for the most part, I had, bought my own drugs because I worked a job. But, a lot of the times, I didn't have nowhere to go. I didn't have anywhere to live. So I would be living with these people, right? But Neil always had somewhere to live and somewhere to go. And he wasn't at that point. He hadn't gotten to a rock bottom like I had, All right, Krissy, I'll see you later, girl. Love you. And so it was just different. He went to college and got his degree, right? It really does. And so money, and then his family never made him leave. They never kicked him out and held him accountable. So he always could just stay there at his parents' house. My parents, y'all, they kicked my butt out. And so a lot of the times I feel like sometimes I had to work through this, because I had a resentment towards Neil, because for a long time I was like, you don't understand, you had your family to just stay at their house and get high and blah 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 blah, my parents kicked my ass out. And so it was just I feel like that's why when I got sober, when I got off drugs and got sober, I got serious, because I knew that if I went, I wasn't going to have nobody to fall back on. But for Neil, he's always had that little bit of a struggle, because he's had those people to fall back on. And so I feel like what happens is it enables him a little bit, But anyway, we just went on a tangent tonight, didn't we, you guys? So, okay, I wanted to look up a story real fast, and just a good, let's find a good inspiring addiction recovery story.
What are you doing?
Nothing. What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing?
I just want to go upstairs.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
I want you to come with me up there.
Okay, I'll be up there in just a second. So here's this. I'm looking at this. Here's this website.
I'm scared to go up there.
Okay, I'll be up there in just a minute. Recovery stories, breaking the chains of addiction. Okay, real stories, real people. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna read about Brittany. Okay, And this website is called Recovery Stories, okay?
It's like
So here we go. Overcoming addiction and trauma. At 35, Brittany Shelton enjoys a simple and calm life. A stay-at-home mom, Brittany fills her days with family and writing. She tends to her blog and interacts with her. Okay.
I need this for a second.
Nate.
I need something in here a second.
What,
I need
Bubba?
a needle.
No.
I need a needle.
You don't need a tack. It's a tack. Here you go. Don't hurt yourself with it. I don't know what this child's doing. Okay, hiding under blankets. Here's her story. Brittany grew up in Missouri in the 1980s. Her family's trailer was always filled with strangers, smoke, and noise. Weed trays were the norm, and so were loud physical arguments between Brittany's parents. Sometimes the male visitors would touch her, or caress her hair, or compliment her. It made her skin crawl. By the time she was in kindergarten, she could pour a mean rum and coke, and for her grandpa. The 5-year-old was also pretty sure she was the smartest and most reliable person living within the thin walls of her home. Brittany recalled in her autobiography, Discovering Beautiful. My early childhood and my experiences were dangerous, and my day-to-day life was unpredictable, Brittany told drugrehab.com. I never knew who or what to expect, and I believe this is one of the contributing factors to my anxiety that I manage and live with today. At the time, Brittany's escape mechanism was a blanket. When her parents would fight, she'd hide under the blanket, covering her ears and humming the tune to Bruce Springsteen's Pink Cadillac.
Mommy, I just need some.
The only person Brittany could depend on was her grandma. She was the one who sat with Brittany when she needed stitches and gave her pep talks. No. She was the one who would intervene when the fighting got out of control, scolding Brittany's parents and encouraging them to straighten up their act. They never seemed to listen, though.
I need some.
Nate, hush.
I need staples.
There's no staples. Stop. Nate, there. The unexpected death of her baby brother Matthew in 1990 compounded the family's problems. Her grief-stricken mother withdrew from the rest of the family. Shelton recalls her mother sobbing alone in a room that had become a shrine to the baby. Other times, though, she'd become angry and throw hairbrushes at Brittany. Brittany's parents eventually separated. When she was a freshman in high school, she moved in with her father and stepmother, but it never felt like home. There were rules she didn't understand. Why did she have to use the downstairs bathroom but couldn't use the one across from her bedroom? Why was she allowed to drink one brand of soda, but another kind was off limits? Aside from the nonsensical rules, Brittany felt like a burden to her dad and his wife. Every drop of shampoo I rubbed on my head felt borrowed. Every bite of food I ate tasted too expensive for someone like me. Brittany coped the way she always had, by shutting down and trying to block it all out. She spent most of her time alone in her bedroom listening to music. Then, at age 16, she drank a bottle of St. Ides malt liquor. She was smitten with a warm sensation in the way it transformed her personality. Instead of her usual reserved and distant self, she felt like the life of the party. Soon, Brittany was binge drinking every week with her friends, and from that point on, drugs and alcohol were her favorite mode of escape. Over the next several years, Brittany would get kicked out of her dad's house, move in with her boyfriend, and drop out of high school. By age 20, she was seeking refuge in a domestic abuse shelter with her 9-month-old son. With her grandma's support, Brittany eventually got her GED and enrolled in college, but she continued to drink to numb her loneliness and stress. Then, through a series of medical challenges, she discovered her drug of choice, benzodiazepines. Following a simple cosmetic surgery, Brittany developed a painful infection. As she endured several more surgeries, her doctor gave her oxycodone and Valium to cope with her pain, anxiety, and sleeplessness. Her dependence on benzos took hold quickly, Shelton recalled, and when her Valium prescription ran out, she was frantic. She turned to her drug dealer, who promised her something better than Valium. She took him up on it, and within a couple of weeks, she was hooked on Xanax bars. To make matters worse, she was mixing Xanax and alcohol on a daily basis. The combination is extremely dangerous and often deadly. I think it would be
Cockroach for real.
It's a water bug. I think it would be accurate to say that I first became addicted to the process of melting away into nothingness until I tried Xanax for the first time. That is when I became addicted to a specific drug, and that is all she wrote, said Brittany. Eventually, Brittany suffered a laundry list of losses.
I think he smells the food that I left on the ground upstairs.
Well, then go get it. I had legal issues piled on top of me. I didn't have anyone from my family in my corner. I had isolated myself from everything and everyone I was associated with, she said. I felt alone, hopeless, and tired. Then a few people she barely knew guided her to a local 12-step meeting, and everything clicked. From there, I was embraced, mentored, and given tools to work with. She attended counseling, got a sponsor, and she said committed to something better. Brittany was unsure of what that even looked like at the moment in time, but she knew she had to do it for her young son. I knew that it was time for me to either change or die. Because of him, I chose to fight. It was a gradual process, though. First, she learned to stay sober for a period of time. Eventually, as she acquired better coping skills and tools, she was able to abstain completely from all substances. As problems with sleep, emotional regulation, relationships, and other things popped up, I had new coping skills and techniques to use, and as well as a solid support system around me. Sobriety was just a part of the process. Feeling comfortable in her own skin and grappling with years of shame was also a struggle. I felt like a stranger in my body and an alien in a foreign world that I felt comfortable being in, but knew I didn't belong to. Every week, she says, she grew stronger, and by the end of the first year in recovery, Brittany actually felt a little bit confident and even comfortable. An important part of her recovery was facing and processing her past. Doing that work helped her understand why she felt the need to run and hide anytime life gets scary, hard, unpredictable, or messy. 12 years into her sobriety, Brittany is enjoying a slower pace of life with her husband and 3 sons. Just the sort of life she's always wanted. I used to wonder what it might be like to live without the feeling and unseen pressure to go, 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 or to move or to plan the next thing, Brittany said. I had a real problem resting in the present. She's also been sharing her experience publicly through her blog and book. She started her Discovering Beautiful blog as a therapeutic outlet to her sort through stuff and vent. But it also became a hub of connection for other women who are feeling alone in their own struggles. To me, that's an incredible and unexpected gift that can come of vulnerability, and I'm thankful for all those women. Brittany wrote her book for those suffering from trauma and addiction. Oh, I'm going to show you all a picture of her, okay? That's her. She says, I centered the book on some of my most major traumatic experiences and tried to show how the after effects led me to what would become my addiction and destruction. She also unexpectedly touched a lot of people who aren't in recovery and don't come from dysfunction. These are people who have told me that my book helped them to develop empathy, not sympathy, and more of an understanding of things that weren't really personally familiar with. Okay. So, her book is called, let's see. Let's go up to the top so I can see. It says, Brittany Shelton, Overcoming Addiction and Trauma. I think that's, hold on, let me see. Where did that name of that book? Okay, so her blog is called Discovering Beautiful blog. Discovering Beautiful blog. So let's click on that and see if it takes us and tells us what her book is called. Okay? Discovering Beautiful, Life After Childhood Trauma with Brittany L. Shelton. Okay, so, her book is called Discovering Beautiful. Discovering Beautiful. It is a month-to-month personal reflection portal where I share my thoughts, hopes, and experiences revolving around life and recovery. I have been sober for 12 short years from drugs, alcohol, shame, childhood trauma, and sexual domestic abuse. Here I share about how I overcome day-to-day things such as living with anxiety disorder, fighting depression, and old tendencies to prefer escape. I'm also the child of an addicted person and come from a family that struggles to break free from generational cycles and patterns. The blog is a colorful place, and I'm happy that you're here to check it out. Oh, wow, that's awesome. So that's what her book is called, Discovering Beautiful, Finding Freedom from Childhood Trauma and Self-Destruction. It's got 5 stars. So I tried to get on my phone, was buzzing, realized it was a notification for your live, so I jumped on. It's nearly 3 a.m. Hey, Raw, what's up, baby girl? My family did the same thing when I was in active addiction. I was not allowed at their house. They didn't take my calls and avoided me on social media. Candy, me too, girl. Me too. And you know what? Like, me and my sister, because we were both, like, really bad at the same time, like, my parents, like, blocked us, because especially my sister, because my sister would get on social media and like cuss people out. And so that's how it is, though, because we bring so much shame on our families, you know, when we're in active addiction. Okay, Nate, bring your little butt upstairs, pick all that stuff up. Hey, Nate, will you pick that stuff? Yeah, let's pick it up though, okay?
Can I leave this on the ground here?
Huh? No, let's pick it up.
No, I'm talking about the game of it.
Okay. Why?
I'm putting all of these red things in here.
Okay, I would appreciate that. Pick it all up.
No little bowl.
Do you want something to drink?
You like the crushes I make those?
I do like it, though. You did a good job, son. We've had such a good night tonight. I love chatting with you guys. Like, y'all don't understand how happy I am when I get on and talk with y'all. So, I love reading other people's stories. So what I'm going to start doing, you guys, is like at the end of our little meetings that we have, I'm going to start reading somebody's story at the end of our meeting. So that way, that will inspire you, because y'all get to hear my story, you know what I'm saying, all the time. But I want you guys to hear about other people's recovery too. So what we'll start doing is we'll start like reading other people's stuff at the end of the meetings, okay? What was that? Hold on just a second, okay? This is what I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding why you're throwing things all the time.
I didn't throw anything.
Come on. Okay. Upstairs, son. That way we can, like, more about you ladies and then the sales. Oh yeah, you know what? And Shay, like, I'm proud of my parents for doing that, because listen, I was sucking the life out of my family. Okay, you guys, I was sucking the life out of them. I was like one of those fishes that you see on the side of on the fish wall, on the fish tank. They're just sucking everything, sucking you dry. And so I totally understand why my parents had to do that. Like, because if they didn't, I would just keep on sucking, you know, until pick up all your toys off the floor, Nate. Everything in here. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm just getting frustrated because it's like... not until you pick up this room. Pick up every toy on the floor and put it in your toy box right now. Right now. I do so much for him, and we do all kinds of fun activities. Have our friends over. But this house is a wreck. Tornado Nate done ran through it. So, you know, I used to not understand why my parents kicked me out. I used to be very mad at them for doing that, especially right when it was happening, you know. But now I thank them, you guys, because if they had kept allowing me to do that, I probably would have never got my life back together. I would have never changed, because there would have been nothing to push me to change. So them kind of pulling that support out from underneath me, it forced me to make changes. And I was talking to Krissy about this today. You know what? We start getting uncomfortable. That uncomfortable feeling is what forces us to change, because that's when you know change is coming. When you're starting to get sick and tired, you don't like looking at yourself in the mirror anymore. You're feeling like shit all the time, right? Change is coming, because that's what happens when we get uncomfortable. That's what has to happen. Yeah, raw seduction. Me and my parents, when I was with that guy LD, I didn't see them for like almost 7 years because, well, I was with this guy who was beating me up, and my dad did not want him anywhere near their house. And so we lived like right down the street, but I wouldn't go over there because I was with this guy who beat me up, and so I chose him over my family. I mean, and even then, you guys, like with a man, this guy who would beat me up every day, and I was with him because it was like an addiction, and I was sick in my head. I thought I couldn't do any better.
I just want to walk.
So, anyway, I love you guys. I had a really good time chatting with you guys tonight. I'm sorry I didn't really have like a focus of tonight's medically assisted treatment meeting. Raw action, that's what kept me from my family for a long time, was me being with somebody who was abusing me, you know? And so I was like a battered woman. Like I did not think I could do any better. And that's why I struggled accepting Neil's love. Because when Neil would tell me that he loved me, you guys, I was like, no, you don't. There's no way you love me. Because I didn't think I was good enough. And I didn't think that nobody would ever love me. And so that's why I love him so much, because he just came and he helped me learn how to love myself. And he loved me when I never thought anybody would love me again. And so he's just my best friend in the whole wide world. And I'm just so grateful for him. Sorry. No, I get really emotional talking about it, because like that I let that guy beat me up for so long, you guys. Like I just never left. We'll talk about that on another day, because it was just so traumatic, you know, and I'm still scarred from that stuff. But we'll talk about that on another. Love you guys. I hope you have a great day. Tomorrow's Saturday. Me and Nate are going to go swimming.
Next time when it's kicks the finger, I'm going to give you this.
Thank you, baby. He gave me flowers. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll take you guys with me to go swimming, because we're going to go to the swimming pool. So I love y'all. Thank you so much, everybody that came tonight. I would love having you guys here. Your support means so much to me. Like, y'all don't even understand how much I love doing these live streams. So thank you so much. And I'll see you. Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Say bye.